Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? It is not only the COVID pandemic that is causing us stress, but also the communication failure between us and our students. So, today I'm going to be talking to you about communicating with Zest, dealing with the Generation Z. I am Dr. Jureca Nacional from the Iloilo Science and Technology University. Gen Y and Gen Z. What's the difference? Let's watch this.
Millennials, also referred to as Generation Y, are the generational group who follow Generation X and are typically categorized as people born between 1980 to the mid-1990s. Millennials are also sometimes referred to as Echo Boomers due to a major surge in birth rates in the 1980s and 90s. Generation Z, or Gen Z, is the generational group that came after the Millennials, born between the mid-1990s up to the mid-2000s. Generation Z is also referred to as the I generation, iGen, or post-millennials. How do these generations compare? That's what we'll be looking at today, in this episode of the infographic show, Millennials versus Generation Z. Though these two groups sit side by side on the generation ladder, the expansion of the internet and the leaps that have been made with the digital revolution has seen them exposed to a host of different experiences. Add to that the influence of parents from different generations, and we have plenty of scope for differences in attitude and behavior. We've reviewed what researchers have said, so we can bring you our list of 10 ways these generations compare and differ. Let's take a look. Number 1. Attention span. Generation Z processes information faster than any other generation, including millennials. They live in a high-tech world of constant updates, and having grown up with access to apps such as Vine and Snapchat, their attention span is likely to be lower than that of millennials. A study showed that while only 4% of millennials and older generations believe 13 is an okay age for owning a smartphone, as high as 18% of Generation Z members think it is an okay age. Number 2. Multitasking. A short attention span is not always a drawback, and what Generation Z lack in focus, they make up for in their multitasking capabilities. Generation Z can work on a school assignment on their computer and do research on their tablet, all while taking notes. And in the evening, they will often sit in front of the TV watching a movie, at the same time chatting with a friend on Facebook from their phone or laptop. It's head-spinning stuff. Number 3. Independent versus collaborative. 71% of Generation Z say they live by the phrase, if you want it done right, then do it yourself. Generation Z tend to be more competitive and will adopt a do-it-yourself mindset in personal or professional activities. And when it comes to workspaces, 69% of Generation Z would rather have their own workspace than share it with others, whereas millennials would opt for a collaborative working environment where they can team up with their colleagues. Number 4. The digital pioneers. 40% of Generation Z say that reliable Wi-Fi is more important than reliable bathrooms. And according to Pew Research, only 14% of US adults had access to the internet in 1995, but by 2014, 87% had access. Millennials saw firsthand how social media revolutionized the way in which we communicate. They were pioneers in the digital age, witnessing the birth of smartphones, instant messaging, and internet searching capability. Generation Z were born into this tech-immersed society and so have a very different perspective. Number 5. Face-to-face or digital chat. All this technology has also had an effect on how these generations differ with communication habits, and 74% of Generation Z say they prefer to communicate face-to-face with colleagues in the workplace. As we just mentioned, millennials pioneered many of the digital communication tools which revolutionized how we do business, but with Generation Z preferring a more personal approach, maybe they are the ideal generation to strike the right balance between online and offline workplace communications. Number 6. Optimistic vision. A 2016 survey conducted by Lincoln Financial Group tells us that Generation Z are far more optimistic than the millennials. 50% of Generation Z say America is heading in the right direction versus 42% of millennials. 64% of Gen Z have started researching or talking to others about their financial futures by age 13. And after they've started having those conversations, 95% of those making financial plans feel optimistic about their future in general. Number 7. Convenience over brands. Accenture research tells us that Generation Z love tech-driven, fast shopping experiences like 1-hour delivery, activated shopping, and in-store kiosks. Brands are less important, and they'll happily switch retailers who are better at providing these services. And they see shopping as a social experience. They like to consult friends and get opinions on products. They can be unforgiving when leaving reviews for retailers, and are also twice as likely to consult YouTube as millennials before making a purchase. Number 8. different ways of learning. 75% of Generation Z say there are other ways of getting a good education other than the traditional route of going to college, according to Sparks and Honey research. And Generation Z has the beauty of hindsight on their side to see how things panned out for their counterparts. Many millennials now have large student debts and have been left questioning whether it was worth it, with 44% of recent college grads employed in jobs that do not require a degree. Number 9. Tolerance. Millennials tend to be more tolerant than Generation Z, as they have generally encountered more situations in life where things have the potential to go wrong. For Generation Z, it's all about getting the job done, and problems for them usually mean it's time to look elsewhere. As an example, if Generation Z experience a technical hitch when making an online purchase, it's unlikely they'll visit that store again, whereas millennials will be more lenient and likely give the store a second chance. And finally, number 10. Social influencers are today's celebrities. Generation Z are more likely to be browsing YouTube than sitting in a movie theater. 63% of them say they prefer to see real people than celebs in their ads. So it's pretty obvious we've probably got a large percentage of Generation Z viewers here at the infographic show. But whether you're Gen Y or Gen Z, one thing is for sure, you need money.
So to summarize, the Generation Z are born after the Generation Y, from 1995 to present. They're currently under the age 18. Who are the Generation Z, really? For us, they are the entitled, technology-obsessed, spoiled generation. But in reality, they are independent, risk-averse, avid gamers and music goers. They're known for their being ever-present messaging on the internet, on social networks, and on mobile systems. They are truly the digital natives. They tend to care about trends, but are also quick to research top issues. Gen Z are not bad communicators. However, they are different communicators. According to them, we don't go online anymore, we live online. They want communication and they will take it however and whenever. That's why they send messages through the Messenger, Facebook, cell phone, emails, Skype, and many others. According to one teenager, she says that I can simultaneously create a document, edit it, post a photo on Instagram, and talk on the phone, all from the user-friendly interface of my iPhone. So this group of people are really multitaskers. Let's look at the pictures on the screen. What word comes into your mind? Can you take a guess? Okay, your time starts now. Did I hear the word instant? Yes, you're right. Gen Z's word is instant. Generation Z takes in information instantaneously and loses interest just as fast. Remember, therefore, to segment information whenever possible and provide centralized place to go where information is stored in one place. Let me show this example of an email of a professor to his students. Welcome to your online course. This is an example of an announcement that you will see periodically throughout the term, as I need to communicate important due dates and reminders. To begin, be sure to get familiar with the course syllabus, linked on the left side of the course. It contains all the tasks and assignments you will be doing. Keep referring back to the syllabus for your guide and what tasks to do. I look forward to a great class with you. Let me highlight here that the professor provided the syllabus and a link where the students can go back to if ever they want to retrieve information. So it is important, therefore, to provide links to our students, store information online, and provide backups of the information given through hard copy or soft copy. Remember, the Generation Z communicate in bite sizes. Punchy headlines or razor-sharp texts resonate much better than lengthy chunks of words or long-winded passages. But remember to put the important information such as the who, what, when, why, and where. So I'm going to share tips to you on how to make announcement. Number one, be direct and concise in your announcement so that your reader will be able to understand the information quickly and can refer back to it easily. Write a short, friendly announcement that's to the point when you're sharing positive news. Written in the right tone, an announcement can show a wish to keep up a business or personal relationship. It can also build on positive feelings. Recognize what others have achieved in your announcement and motivate your reader to reach similar goals. Present your information in a plain and a complete way so your readers will understand you in the first time and not ask questions later. If the news you're announcing is bad, write it in a direct statement. Add a message of understanding and optimism to your announcement in a respectful tone. If you need to get something across that is not easy to convey in a quick message, let them know at the beginning that it's imperative for them to read the entire message. If the message is difficult to explain, it's better to call or personally explain it to them. Gen Z always wants to know the score. They crave for frequent communication and feedback. A quick feedback that you have received their message, a brief chat to tell them that they are on the right track, a text message to clarify your instructions. These are great help to them. Gen Z communicates with symbols. Let me read this text message. Cat, tell me, I'm listening. Yesterday, I saw this girl with this boy and they got engaged. No fair. Crying emoji and a broken heart. Gen Z communicates in emoticons and emojis. Symbols and glyphs provide context and create subtext. Emojis, alphabets, and icon stickers replace text with pictures. So use them. It could help you explain your message well. Gen Z is connected. Cell phones and other electronic devices are primarily used for the purpose of entertainment and are tapped for communication only when the face-to-face option isn't available. Successfully engaging with the Generation Z requires striking a balance between conversing directly and engaging online. Both are important for them, and they need to feel connected in both ways to be fully satisfied. Gen Z craves human interaction. A great way to engage them is to hold weekly team meetings, Zoom, Google Meet, Skype, etc., that gather everyone together to recap their achievements. Although members of Gen Z don't necessarily need a pat on the back, it's human nature to want to feel appreciated. This small gesture will give them something to look forward to and keep them feeling optimistic about their work. In addition, they tend to work best up against the deadline. So set deadlines, but make sure that it should be attainable and also realistic. Gen Z is so diverse that they don't even recognize diversity. They don't focus as much on someone's color, religion, or sexual orientation as some of their older counterparts might. To them, a diverse population is simply the norm. What they care about most in other people is honesty, sincerity, and perhaps most important, competence. Hence, they can talk about diverse topics with openness and they can give you unfiltered opinions at times. So, don't get offended. Gen Z wants a voice. Gen Z has some amazing abilities to bring together information, process it, and take action. When we do allow them to share ideas, great things happen. Let's work with them and not against them. When we communicate with them, we have to learn to be humble and learn to listen. So, in a nutshell, here is a checklist for connecting with the Gen Z.